Hello, everyone in the Goddess Creations for Women group and beyond. Thank you very much for watching. And if you are watching live, just do a quick hashtag live. And if you're watching in the replay, do a hashtag replay. Hi, I am Shamna Lee Gray from Goddess Creations, also known as the Empowerment Midwife. And I have with me an amazing guest, and her name is Dr. Stephanie Rimka. And she is also known as the Rest Revolutionary. And Dr. Stephanie Rimka is a holistic family doctor specializing in brain disorders and mental health. Now, through her public speaking and relentless content creation, she is now building a tribe of healed warriors. Dr. Rimka is the creative force and clinical director of at Brain and Body Solutions and Brain and Body Revolution. And I'm sure that Dr. Rimka is going to be sharing more on that with us. Questioning the classical education of Western medicine, where patients stay chronically sick, tired, broken, and even become financially broke, Dr. Rimka is committed to transforming lives by changing the status quo healthcare story. And I know Stephanie's going to be sharing a lot about that in whatever form is in alignment. Dr. Rimka offers steps, tools, resources, diets, support based on health, knowledge, and personal development. And she believes that the key to vibrant health is revealed by studying and reproducing the laws of nature. Now, Dr. Stephanie Rimka will be showing us a bit about how eating meat can improve our diet and health as a by thing, but most importantly, how we can improve our brain and body in accordance to nature. So, welcome, Dr. Rimka, for being here with us in this interview.
Hi, Sam. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Well, I am very pleased to have you here because I have come to, when I met you, met you online. I found that you have an expansive knowledge of the health of the body in a different way to what we get from our normal doctors. Can you share about, just bring us up to speed, well, not speed, bring us up to date as to what may be different in how you are a practitioner versus the healthcare that we get in our daily lives?
Sure. And let me say, sometimes, I have to go out of my way to figure out what the status quo healthcare is, because I haven't participated in normal healthcare physicians and things like that and going to those types of things. I've been going to alternative, which I can't stand that phrase personally, because I'm not sure how something that's 5,000 years old and has become alternative and something that's 100 years old has become mainstream, because that's what allopathic Western medicine, a very masculine linear treatment, symptom focused treatment, it's about 100 years old, drugs to do things. And the other stuff is at least documented in scrolls and textbooks, at least 5,000 years old. So the comparison is absurd that we have been, classified as the second class citizens or the redheaded stepchild that nobody wants to deal with. And the holistic, functional practitioners who are trying to find a root cause of what's going on with people's dysregulation and dysfunction, we've been cast to the side and, aren't reimbursed and everything, right? So I forget exactly what people are dealing with until I sometimes hear stories about it. And I find it stunning because I don't go to those kind of people. I don't hear these kinds of things. I don't even have a TV in my home. So I am constantly making sure I'm not brainwashed with pharmaceutical drugs. I don't hear them. I don't know what people are actually seeing. I make a point to go into a Walmart once a year just to walk and see what's out there, because I live in a bubble. I like the insulation of what I have created to keep my mind and body and soul as pure and healthy and vibrant as I can. Understanding I do live in a community and have to know some things about popular culture connection. That being said, I look to the root cause. I am not concerned with a symptom. I am not trying to suppress something. Medicine is basically, you have something not functioning well, it's a hypo. So we're going to hyper the hypo. We have a hyper, we're going to hypo the hyper. And you're using drugs and surgery to just do that. There's no root cause correction. There's no focus on health. They do not study how to be healthy. What is an optimal human being? What does a superhuman look like? How can we make this better? How can we 10x, right? They don't do any of that. That is not, it is, the job is to diagnose and treat a disease pathology. That is not what I was interested in when I went through my own issues, and they were of no help or service to me. So I had to figure it out myself with all the woo-woo quack kind of doctors. And so I made a huge shift and went that route. I'm interested in the bigger picture. It takes a lot longer. It takes more, time, more energy, more knowledge, more information, more detective, more cognitive skill sets to be able to try and do that with somebody actually. So any doctor like me has to be able to do it. And that patient, or client or practice member has to be willing to participate. This isn't I can't just give you a pill and it's in 5 minutes and one and done. If that's what you want, go buy some Tylenol. I'm not your lady.
Well, that's it. Well, that's it, because I'm quite sure that when you have new patients, or when you have patients that enter into the practice with you, it is almost that you have to reprogram their mind, reprogram their attitudes, their whole behaviors from what they are used to doing or expect of a doctor, or even believe about their bodies, I'm sure.
Very much so. I am lucky. So I'm not a physician. I didn't have I'm converted now after 10 years in practice and looking and going, this isn't working. This is a big story of a lot of physicians, and I'm friends with a lot of these people, and they're huge in the social media community, and I'm proud of what they're doing. But I didn't spend 10 years, 15 years, 20 years drugging people up and getting them sick and then feeling guilty and then saying, oh, I've had a revelation. Now I need to go study functional medicine and actually what the hell's going on in the human body. I need to look at science, and I need to look at nature, and maybe I've been lied to. Maybe I've been manipulated. Maybe this is all bullshit, right? So I had that at 19 years old. So,
oh, wow. Great.
Yeah, so I have been doing this a really, really long time, right? So I have tried to make sure I've set everything up in the brick and mortar practice for Antibody Solutions that I weed and filter out people that are at the kindergarten stage of this. So I am very blessed that I have by the time my practice members get to me, they're pretty advanced. They know more holistic stuff. They're already disgruntled. They get it. A Western medicine physician who's having this awakening going, this cholesterol story is bullshit and no one's getting better. And I'm fat and they're sick and I'm sick. And what's going on? Maybe this whole eat less, work out more is bullshit, right? Once they're figuring that out for themselves and they're trying things and getting their patients better, they have to take them through kind of a frustratingly deprogramming, de-brainwashing kind of thing. And they don't have the luxury that I've had because I've set up myself where I do not take any insurance reimbursement. An insurance company will not dictate to me what I do in any way, shape, or form. I've always been cash practice for 20 years. So patients that come in and give you money, they're very committed and they're ready to do anything I say to do because I know their value is on health. They're not looking for a $10 copay and they're not looking for a pill. So they understand my first visit is 3 hours. There's a lot of evaluation and diagnostic imaging and things that go on, and a lot of them talking. I have to hear a lot of everything, right? So you can't charge $10 an hour and make a living. So my people invest. I know they're invested in their time, energy, money, frequency to exchange with me for what I've invested in. So luckily, I get people like in the college level in health. And so they already know this is all, I'm being lied to. And I said, yeah. So they're trying to get themselves out of that broken system. And they just don't maybe know exactly what's real, what's not real. It's really overwhelming. If you watch the news and get your healthcare advice from a TV or a magazine,
yeah,
you're pretty much screwed. I'm going to tell you that right now. And there are some people trying to break through, like me and other functional docs that are coming up with, we're doing videos and YouTubes and podcasts and online learning centers and writing books and offering courses. So we're starting to get out there because it's affordable now. Now we can kind of compete with a big pharmaceutical ad or a big agribusiness commercial. So yes. Now you guys are like, well, I don't know. They say this, they say that, but this one said this. I don't know what to do. I try to be a place to go. If you resonate, great. Let me break it down for you and make it as simple and easy as I possibly can. Because I do think everybody's working way too hard and getting a really shitty return on investment. I try to say, like, you want to feel and look like this? I can show you how to do it real easy, because I guarantee you, I eat more than you and I do less than you.
Well, and that's it. What I'd like is that you said, is that you touched on that, the independence of the pharmaceutical industry. And what is beautiful in what you just said is that you are not dependent on the insurance companies. Therefore, they don't control whether you get customers, whether you get patients, whether you get clients, because that frees you up to speak your truth. Is what they're actually saying. The independence of, I remember, and I can't remember the name, and I don't really want to know the name because the details aren't interesting to me. But I remember that in the 80s there was this big fear, and it's all hush hush now, where people saying our food is manipulated by certain big people, big companies growing it and giving, treating it with. Well, see, I can't even say it. Chemicals and growth stimulants and all of that stuff, and the little man or woman was like, I feel as that even that all those years back, I was like, but where do we then get our food from? How can we have the space to choose? So can you give us a bit of a sense? I mean, where can we find, or how can we find the right healthcare, or that we actually do need, even if we are, we don't all have access to you, Dr. Rimka?
That's Shamna, I don't know if I have that answer. So what you were talking about was bioengineering. That's the phrase that's used. So bioengineering, we look at genetic modification, GMO, things like that. Extremely dangerous, extremely harmful. There is, wow, I don't believe I'll say it. I'm going to say it. So I really do think at this point, there's a very concerted and orchestrated effort being done by some very few big companies and people running everything they're controlling the food, right? You control the food supply, you control the seed supply, you control that whole agribusiness, and you disguise it as saying, we're trying to be helpful. People are being tricked. They're being enslaved and poisoned and tortured, basically, under the guise of, but I'm here to help you. See, we have to do all this bizarre Frankenstein manipulation and weird perversion of the food source with our technology to save the planet from starvation. So they create a scarcity story, put everybody into fear, and pervert something natural, right? This is about as far from nature as you can imagine. You cannot be a healthy human being if you are not in connection with the natural rhythms and cycle of the earth and how we live here, where the source of life is. So how do you find it? I think that's why there's a lot of people like me that are trying to become loudmouths about it.
Did you say trying?
Well, I'm not anywhere near where I want to be, but I do appreciate, there's a lot of people doing it a lot bigger than me. They're on the TV already, and we're getting, friends of mine were just on the doctors and they got attacked and slammed, and it's disgusting what's happening in terms of, I would say, I would honestly, step one, turn off your TV. The media is straight propaganda, and it's a propaganda tool for this big pharma and agribusiness marriage that is controlling most governments in the world, right? And they control the World Health Organizations. I don't believe anything that comes out of that institution anymore. I mean, the CDC, bought and paid for, it's a branch of our military. It's not what people really think that it is. You think, oh, they're Well, that's what they do. They regulate and they're here to help, but it's the sheep in wolves clothing kind of thing. Like you have
Oh, yeah.
the wolf in sheep's clothing. It's like you have the wolf that's going to eat you, has put on a costume, and you let the damn thing in to kill your whole family. You have been bamboozled and tricked. For me, turn off the money, the media, the news. I wouldn't read or anything they have to say. But it's all propaganda, whether it's politics, it's health, I don't really care, right? Climate, it doesn't matter. So then I think using discretion, when you find people, you want to follow the money. I think that's a really good way to show you who's motivated by what. If I read this study that said blah, blah, okay, you need to look at who paid for that study. I want to know who paid for it and what all the researchers on there, are they associated with that company? And what you'll find now, the fraud of all science, there is really no science going on. It's all bought and paid for. There's going to be a very rare clean study. The conflicts of interest are so through the roof. How are you going to have 7 people who are on the nutrition board who've made hundreds of thousands or millions from the company that's selling the products that they now have said this is the base of the food pyramid?
Yeah.
And it's so obvious when the meta studies have happened. People come in to say, this is outrageous conflict of interest. Yeah. How can you hire the person with their recommendation? They have stock or a patent on the vaccine. Now they're saying the schedule is to give that vaccine 4 times a year.
They're paying both together.
Millions of dollars directly from their recommendation on a government recommendation board. That should be illegal.
Yeah.
Yet it's the standard now. They can't even find researchers and experts that are not on payrolls of the company. It's so corrupt. Like the whole thing needs to be dismantled. So I think, you find somebody who has helped people, and you look for a direct referral. Where do you go? And you start listening to what they say. And if they say, I need you to read this book, you go get the book. If these, this and that, you look at track record of people who are actually getting people better and keeping them well long-term. They can say that was 10 years ago and they're still doing great. I can point you to patients that were schizophrenic 5 years ago and today they are not. Now, I'm not saying I cured anything because that would be illegal, but I can point you to all of that. I can say, well, look at that and look at that and look at that. Not, a really horrific track record that the American Medical Association here has. I'm like, you guys have been, saying number 1 killer has been cardiovascular disease. Number 2 is cancer. What have you done to change those numbers? Not a damn thing. And in fact, their recommendations keep making it worse. Now, are they really stupid or do they know what they're doing?
Yeah, exactly. And that is it, because I have a very simple, and it seems out of reference. Example, but I have a very simple example of that in terms of the biblical term. And do forgive me, it seems as if I'm going off track here. But I remember that when I used to be reading the Bible, or at least in church, and we have been taught God created the earth. You have Adam and Eve, and then there was that other woman called Lilith, who in different readings was known as the first wife of Adam before Eve. And I remember that I was talking about that with someone, and she said, but how comes you know this and I don't? And this is what I'm coming to, is that at the moment is that this, what you are talking about is this, what you are talking about, is recognizable to those who are awakened to that truth. And yet those who are still in slumber are like, what are you talking about? I mean, for them, it's like, really? Why don't I know? How comes? That is because probably whilst we are still sleeping due to the fed info by the doctors who are being fed the doctor, their training and whatever, and also by social media. So what would you, as you said, you gave us those tips of, turn off the TV and get direct referral. And is there another way also that we, as those that aren't into the awakened knowledge, can help start on this journey in healing ourselves?
Well, I mean, if you're watching, I mean, you have to listen to the obvious signs. I don't think there's a coincidence. I think there's all synchronicity. And when you're ready for the information, you can hear it. You can be told the same thing over a 10-year period, and you won't do anything with it. I have given people $1 million answers. Absolutely. I absolutely know the issue. I can tell you right now what to do. They've done nothing with it because they aren't ready for that. Not everybody, it needs to be woke or you're going to get woke or whatever, right? Which I, don't love that phrase either, but that concept, right? It's like, oh, what? So people don't want to know sometimes, and you have to be okay. I'm okay with that. Like my job is not to come and save and rescue everybody. My job is to say what I'm to say, to stand for health and personal development and truth and freedom, and to keep telling the truth. And when people resonate with that, I'll attract the frequency of when you're ready, what? And then that's it. We just come and we do, and we learn, and you learn more and more. So how to, there has to be a willingness, a want to think there's something. If your filter is such that everything's fine, the government takes care of me, I'm going to do exactly what they say. Well, I don't know, like that's where they're at.
You have to be ready to hear it.
You can be there. I'm not going to stand in any position of judgment or superiority or try to come in and rescue you like I'm some great white knight or savior. That's just it's not my job nor anybody else's job, right? So they have to go through their personal journey. So I think it's like, if you're sitting here watching this and this was all new to you, you're like, oh, okay, well, then you'll go to, like, we'll say them later, like some of my websites. You'll get on my Facebook. You'll start watching me on Instagram. You'll start watching my videos. So much free content. And then you'll see who I interview and who I hashtag and who I tag. And then you'll be like, you'll go to his and you go to hers, and you'll go down the path of like, oh, I had no idea. I learn stuff all the time. I'm in this. I've been doing this, and I'll find out something and I go, can you believe about, I just said it to a friend last night who was here, who Harvey Kellogg was, who owns the cereal, Kellogg cereal, like how absolutely mentally ill, crazy, psychotic. Oh my God. I had the stories of this man. He was a perversion. I can't believe somebody could be that ill mentally and perverted and do what he did with religion and sex and still turn that into this massively successful company that is running, that literally determines the healthcare, the nutrition guidelines in this country. And he was a lunatic when you hear the story of what he really was like.
And he was in the family was in the KKK. I remember as a child.
I didn't know that. See? I didn't know. I'm not surprised, but I'm from Michigan. I'm from where he's from. So that name is everywhere. And the KKK is huge in Michigan. There are many places we weren't allowed to go to as children. So it's the northern headquarters. So again, not surprised, but I didn't know that. And I've studied Kellogg. Right. See, I just learned something right now. This is also a sidetrack, but I was in America for a few months as a child and going to school there, where we did the whole I pledge allegiance to the flag thing. And and we were studying in that school about Kellogg, and I just saw that pass by and I was like, hang on, I'm confused. So that stuck after all of those years. Hey, a lot of white people were in the Klan. It's just.
Yeah, and that's just the way it was.
America. It's our history, and we got to tell the truth about it. I mean, it's a big deal. That's why it's such a big deal here.
So coming back to the neurology and the brain and our health in the now, right? So you have given us the tips of how to start on that journey. Yeah. For the viewers that are going to be watching this now, and I do want to thank you, viewers, for watching. Is that what could you give us as a concrete tip, like in the now, to do to make us feel better or more aligned? Or, I mean, as you said, you don't watch television and you're totally disconnected. Well, not disconnected, but you choose what you let into your body, your systems, what you in your hearing, what you see, So what tip could you give the viewers right now, let's say, on
Yeah,
aligning to connecting to the nature and
sure.
healing the nature and the brain, blah blah blah.
Okay, which we haven't even talked about nature and neurology
Exactly.
at
So let's
all.
get on there. Right.
Like
Let's
we
do
talked
that.
about, this is what I'm doing. I'm kind of a truth teller, myth buster.
But it's okay because all of it is truth and about the brain.
Yeah,
So it's all
it's
connected.
about, you have to be ready to be like, wait, so what you have to really be open to, is what I've believed my whole life or what they're telling me, is that true? So that's really what it comes down to. Like, and if you aren't doing that on everything, like, then that's a problem. You know, I guarantee you there's things that's keeping you small and contracted, right? Your physical health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, your consciousness. If you just keep, you know, that he's not gonna stop.
It's
Can I,
okay. Oh,
I go let him out? I know it's awful. It's literally, I could run to he's gonna do it the whole time,
okay.
Shamna.
Well, yeah, sure.
I'm
Run.
sorry. I know.
It's okay. Which is quite interesting. So, lovely viewers, we have covered the actually the journey that Stephanie has been on, and also concerning the we've been talking about actually the lies that have been told to us in science, in all of media, that has actually been keeping us in the dark. And so now that we have realized that, and Stephanie has taken us on that journey of us being in slumber, in non-knowing. Let's now find out what Stephanie has to say concerning bringing us into where we actually want to be in the now. Let's see what tips
Yeah.
Stephanie has for us.
Well, okay. So back to the question of how do people find things? I think it comes down to, you need to start looking to nature. If you study nature, right? And just the big part of studying nature is getting out into it. Okay. The number one principle of all science originally, it's observation, right? You go and you observe. When's the last time any of us as adult women went out and sat in a forest quietly doing nothing and observed and listened
Yeah.
and felt? Not journaling, not visualizing, not meditating, being present to what is and observing. When's the last time you watched ants in an anthill do what they do? That's some fascinating shit, actually. You know, that is about taking yourself back to being 3, 4, 5 years old. They naturally do this. They are naturally present. They know how to just be with something. They have this focus of, and all they do is follow their excitement into whatever they do. And nobody thinks it's wrong that a 4-year-old is just like, I'm doing this. Ooh, a butterfly. And then sees it and does that for an hour and then goes, ooh, a pickup truck. And then looks at that for an hour and like, look at this stick. And then can sit there and look at a stick for a damn 45 minutes and do things with it, and discovers all this stuff by immersing herself in an experiential moment and observing what happens. That's how they learn. Well, we suddenly stopped doing it when we started reading books and stuff and started like thinking we don't have to be in it, right? Well, so tips are going to be around how to immerse yourself in nature. So one, you know, University of Michigan studies, you can make a college kid do anything. This is one example of one study. Put electrodes on their head, which is what I do for a living. I record brainwave activities. I look at EEGs, the electrical activity of the brain. I can see what's activated, not activated, what we need to wake up, what we need to quiet down, stuff like that. They put them on all these kids, took them out into the forest, and they basically gave a group of people a problem and said, here's a problem. They put them in a building, a library or something, put them in 4 walls in an unnatural environment and habitat, not dangerous, not whatever, but a comfortable, unnatural thing where we're going to control the environment so extreme under artificial lights, under artificial air, under artificial temperature, right? They took the other group, put them all with electrodes on their head, put them in the forest, gave them the same amount of time. The creativity, problem solving ability, brainwave changes was absolutely extraordinary. You are significantly smarter, more aligned, better to solve problems, think better, calmer, lower anxiety by being in nature. All schools should be outside and no buildings. All studying should be outside and no buildings. We should be working outside, no buildings. And if you had to, there should be windows everywhere. Just looking at nature shifts your brainwave state. So if you're in some horribly miserable cubicle somewhere, great, you can't see a damn thing, I'm sorry. your little, industrial national factory prison workstation, put up a bunch of damn bamboo pictures, put up pictures of the ocean, just surround yourself. You will start to shift your neurology into a different brainwave pattern. Not as good as being out there, whatever. Stop making your kids do their homework in their bedroom. Make them go do it on the deck outside, stuff like that. So you have to look to nature. And what is the source of all, what's special about nature? Light.
Yeah.
Okay.
Natural light.
Sunlight is life. Light interacts in a very special way with everything to make everything here, right? So there's light, air, and water, which are very, very special. And what's happening with those, it's creating, okay, so I won't go too much, but
no, you're doing fine.
I measure electricity, right? We're measuring electricity and magnetism. You are an electromagnetic being that absorbs and radiates light. So you're giving off electricity, creating electricity, you're giving off magnetic pulse, because electricity moving through anything creates a magnetic pulse. That's how it works. And that changes the structure of the water inside your body to hold an electromagnetic charge, and you are a battery pack.
Yeah.
Skin, you have to start thinking of it differently. I was given the skin. I came out of my mother's vagina naked for a reason. And I was out in, supposed to be out in nature. The skin is basically a solar pack to be absorbing photons of light to store later to power my heart and my brain. People are covered up, never in the light, and hearts are breaking down left and right. Nothing to do with cholesterol. That's a lie and a myth. You are not getting the nutrition you need. Light is a nutrient, right? It brings electrons into you to run through these little engines in your body called mitochondria, that's creating electromagnetic pulse that sends a frequency out of healing through your body and into the universe, right? So it gets real deep in terms of what your physical body does, but also how you are connected to the matrix that makes up the universal energy, which is 0-point energy in physics. It's a real damn thing. We are imprinted upon it. What?
No, and that's it, because we are all connected. That is what Goddess Creations is also about, at least in my part of it, is that we are all connected to nature.
I prove the science of it in my courses. I'll bring the numbers. I talk about how much energy is in a centimeter square cubed in the black hole space, and Planck's constant. You're going to learn more. You learn more crap to I'm like, look, y'all, it's cognitive. If you know what I mean? That's why nobody can take that class until they do another 3 months with me first. But,
I get that.
We go, but then the point is, because I give you the real information of who you really are, so you can learn to ask the questions right. None of you ask the right questions. That's why you're not better. You ask superficial questions up here when the problem is down here, but nobody told you about any of this, because your physician doesn't know about it. Guarantee you, physicians don't know physics. They don't understand when you read a research study, just by observing what's going on in the test tube, you've altered the results.
So
that's the fundamental principle of the studies are all wrong anyway.
So
okay.
So based on that, what you just said, right? And this is a concrete step thing in itself. You said we are not asking our physicians the right questions. That is, for me, a very good step up in improving our health, improving our brain, stretching our brain, whatever it is, improving our life, quality. So, Dr. Rimka, what questions should we be asking our physicians?
I actually can't tell you that. It takes me months to teach you that.
Oh, heavens, really? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So let me go back to the answering the actual what can you do? Because I didn't answer that question. I said that you need to start looking at light. You need to observe the sun. You need to, by doing that, you will learn to follow what we call circadian biology. You have to get your body rhythms in alignment with the sun and the moon. You have to get into nature, because that is changing your physical body and building an electromagnetic charge in your battery. They know your health story, right?
Yes. And it doesn't matter, because
having MS, you can't hold a charge.
Yes.
You have deteriorated. Your body has created this. That is a function of a cell membrane disorder. Your cell membranes no longer can keep the right things in and out, and they've created plaquing, which has made sclerotic things all over nervous tissue and made fat protection go away. And now the water is distorted, and it's a lot of energy to fix all these broken engines and all the broken water. And it takes a lot of steps to do it, but it all comes down to the number one thing is electromagnetic charge, and then going after that water. That's what I would be doing with you, period. I guarantee you, your neurologist doesn't know anything about it. So it would take me a long time to give you the empowered information. It takes like about 6 months of education that I do with people to get to the point where you would know how to start asking the right questions. And then number two, I would just get you with a neurologist who actually understands a little bit. I'm like, well, you're going to have to leave probably and go to one of my referrals. So I'm very into, why waste your damn time trying to educate somebody? We need to move on, you know? So there's that. But so how do you do that? How can you start respecting nature and light? The sun is the most powerful thing, and it's dictating everything and creating all life. We can take that photon of light into energy and electrons that we're absorbing from it and make it into energy. Okay. So you need to be in the sun. Number one, you need to be out in the sun as much as possible, but the most important time of the day is the first 60 minutes after sunrise. You need to be out in that sunrise morning, no contacts, no glasses, as much skin exposed as you can tolerate. I don't care if it's 13 damn degrees. People do this in their underwear. Okay. I don't care if it's 100 degrees. That first hour of sunrise, you need to bathe your body in that light. It does so many things. I can't get into what it does, but it's a signal to the glands in your brain, the structures in your brain, of what time of day it is. And it starts a whole cascade of events. It lowers inflammation. It makes neurotransmitters of dopamine right then. So you have better cognitive thinking skills and better emotions. It does methylation. You absolutely have a methylation disorder. Everybody with MS does. So you have it because you have a methylation disorder. So it increases methylation. It takes photons of that light, puts them through your eye. The red blood cells grab it. They get electrically charged from light. They carry it all over and they heal parts of your body. There's so much going on with it. It's obscene. That morning light has no UV rays. You cannot burn at all. That morning light is what's essential. And it's why when you go out at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, where all the UV rays are, which are super powerful and healing, you've been protected from ever getting burned from the morning light. People go out and get burned because they never get the morning light, because they didn't wake up and, go out at 1 because they've never gotten. So as much skin, as much that it's a solar pack. You have to absorb energy. Your battery is down to 13%. This is how you recharge. And if you can be barefoot on any earth at the time, dirt, grass, I don't care, while you're doing it, and do it as long as you can. If it's only 30 seconds, only 30 seconds. If it's 30 minutes, it's 30 minutes. Is 30 minutes better? Yeah, right? You're going to recharge more. You are absorbing the electromagnetic energy from the earth. The earth is a giant magnet. It's the biggest magnet you're going to come across. It gives out free electrons. An electron is an antioxidant. People take all these damn expensive pills. You can stop taking them and stand barefoot on the earth every single day. Look at the sun. You're absorbing more photons of energy that are like electrons. It's anti-inflammatory. You make melatonin from the morning sunlight. Everybody's got these damn sleep disorders. They don't make any melatonin because you start making it in the morning, but nobody told you that. Why bother asking your physician? Because he's not going to know anything about it, because he doesn't understand eye function or neurology. I sure as hell didn't until a few years ago. Okay. So that's step one. Do it every day. Make it be your job. Now, I take people in my course. It takes me months to teach women why it's so damn important. Once they finally get it, they don't miss it. I did it this morning. I don't care if it rains. I don't care it's cloudy. I don't care it's snowing. I don't give a damn. I'm getting outside. That's how you balance your hormones. That's how you get rid of diabetes. That's how you protect your eyes from getting cataracts. That's how I stay so damn thin. Okay? Because it's not going to a gym. I don't do any of it. So do that. 2, more with light. Think of nature. When the sun goes down, why do you have so many lights on in your house? The only light our brain understands and can handle is fire. We adapted to that probably 100,000 years ago. It doesn't wake our brain up. When you sit at your TV, your iPhone, your Netflix on a laptop, when you put on all your house lights, your brain thinks it's noon. How in the hell do you expect it to slow down and fall asleep when you suddenly turn everything off. It takes 3 to 4 hours for it to realize the light is gone and to release the melatonin, and it's going to release it in about half of what it normally should have. It's a horrific setup to never get good quality sleep and create more sleep disorders. So get that morning sunlight, respect with the cycles of the sun, and heal your circadian biology by turning off your lights, switching to fire if you can. If not fire, you can use like salt lamps. Okay, and let me start with the lights first. I have nothing but incandescent bulbs in my house. It's not a fluorescent or a halogen to be found. But in the evening, I have different lamps. It's all red bulbs, red and orange. So I have a child and I'm not comfortable with the fire and all that. So I have salt lamps and red and orange bulbs that we convert to. So that it's a red glow, like a fire would look like in my house. Most people, you walk by their house, it's a massive bright blue glow coming from their 8x8 TVs. Okay. If you're going to watch TV, you wear these glasses. So respecting light, number 2, 3, get glasses. Blue light blocking glasses is what I'm wearing. These would be my daytime one. I'm blocking, even though I'm sitting by a window, it's rainy here. So I couldn't do this outside. I like to do my stuff outside. So it helps protect me from the dangers of this blue light, this toxic light, this artificial light that's damaging my neurology, changing my brainwave frequencies, poisoning me. Light is a nutrient. Light is a nutrient. Light is a nutrient. Light is a nutrient. You need to work on your light diet. Okay? Food, everyone wants to talk about food. I don't want to talk about it because you know why? All food is captured light. It's photons of light that have been slowed down enough to be put into matter that have been turned into a food. It's light. Your body liberates electrons that travel on a photon of light. That's what Einstein discovered and why he won a Nobel Prize. E equals mc squared. The photoelectric effect is what that means. What it says is electrons pass through your mitochondria on a photon of light. And that photon of light needs to make sense to what the sunlight is telling you. So let me say it, finish. Light. So that's my daytime glasses. At night, I have different shades for different times. See this? It makes it look like I'm looking at everything with a fireplace on. So everything's orange and red. It would be the amber fireplace glow. So if you got candles, use candles. If you got fire, or get these. So if I'm going to watch a show or a movie, which I do. I got Netflix, people. I get it.
I don't.
I watch stuff. I like some things. And I like to like my son, we watch things together. Okay, let's watch it. Sure. I put the glasses on. So I'm seeing it. I'm protecting myself from a really unnatural amount of light that would only be normally seen by my eyes at noon from the sun. So the brain at 8 o'clock at night isn't all disorganized and disoriented as to what time of day is it. I don't know what to do. I don't know what hormones to release. I'm so jacked up right now. That's what you're doing with all the artificial lights. So
wow. Well, these are 3 great tips.
Yeah, this is about the light. I'm saying how do you do it? By understanding nature. Step 1, understand the sun and understand photosynthesis. If you start to go back to some basic stuff you learned, everything will change. But just that morning sun, barefoot, looking at lights in your house, trying to switch, turning things off, getting the blue light blocking glasses, you've done a lot just in terms of a light protection and support, even if you don't understand everything that's gone on. If you want to up level and like be outside as much as you can, start, you don't even have to hike. You can just go sit somewhere where there's some nature and just be with it. It changes the earth. I did say, it's a big rock. It's a big magnet. It's the biggest one we can come across. It is the thing. It gives off a resonance, and that's what entrains your brain into a certain brainwave state. That's what it's supposed to do. And it's supposed to be very, very low. It's supposed to be in a theta alpha state. The brain is kicking off something. It's a lot of frequencies it gives off, it pulses off, but Schumann resonance is the big phrase people understand. I do neurofeedback where my whole job in one of the therapies called deep states or alpha theta is to get a human's brain to go into 7.83 hertz into the Schumann resonance to match it up with the earth. And after years of doing it, I had to have some revelations of, wait, what the hell are we really doing? Why? and I need you to research. That's what made me forced into nature. I'm like, it's the earth that is healing. It's the sun that is healing. And we are so disconnected from it by living in these sequestered things, controlling our environment, using so much technology. We've ruined it. So when you stand on the earth and lay on the earth and go into the ocean or go into a waterfall, it's entraining your brain into 7.83 hertz. You go into that brainwave frequency, it's very low. It's a slow frequency that's calming and healing. It is the most powerful healing place for your brain to be. All the point of meditation is to put you there. Well, if you just go play in the ocean, you naturally get put there. The problem is we've distorted and perverted our environment so severely with 3G, 4G, now 5G towers everywhere, with radio wave towers everywhere and frequencies, with electrical lines going into the earth. We're changing the grid of the earth. We're changing the resonance of the earth. And the earth now we're not even feeling it as much. Your house is covered in Wi-Fi and microwaves and electrical routing everywhere. You're sleeping with this thing by your head. You can't go into the normal low frequencies your brain was designed to, because it's being bombarded with 100 million hertz, where your brain is supposed to be oscillating real nice around 25 hertz.
Exactly.
Right? So the technology, we're creating a major biological price. So you have to do extra things out of your way that might be uncomfortable and might be a change in your behavior to do that.
Well, I am so pleased with that, because you have even if you've now only, in your perception, only touched on the light part of things, but this in itself is already a huge mini course in how to get on track, or start to get on track to healing your body. And you have given us such powerful and amazing tips concerning how we can deal with our body, with nature, with our sleeping patterns, our electrical patterns. So I would like to thank you. I would like to know, Dr. Rimka, where can we find you to be able to up level to the next step in healing our body in that way, or anyway? So where can we find you?
Yeah. So one of the best ways, I started e-learning site called brainandbodyrevolution.org, because my wait list to see patients was getting too long. So we're at about a 6-week wait list for new patients, and I'm not taking any new patients. I have a year-long wait list right now, and it's getting to be, as the bigger we get at explaining this, people are really dying to find people like me. And I'm not the only one by any means. So I do a lot of referrals as well. But my specialty, again, in brain optimization and rehab in the mental health field, people have to be with me. You're bipolar, suicidal, panic attack, obsessive compulsive, even personality disorders. It takes a long time, right? Yeah. I can only see so many people at a time. This isn't a churn and burn type of practice. Okay. So I only have so many slots, and I get really severe cases. Most of my referrals are coming from psychiatrists and functional medicine physicians or rehab facilities. Like, someone comes to me right out of the hospital. So they need a tremendous amount of time and attention. And I was feeling guilty and horrible that our wait list was getting so bad. And my office manager, Karen, was just like, her job is to talk on the phone and screen them and explain everything. And these are long conversations to see if we're a right fit. I don't want to make an appointment, even if we're not a good fit. I don't want to waste anybody's time. I don't have time to waste. Right. So she was feeling horrible. But look at this one. How can I tell her it's 4 weeks? It's 6 weeks. I go, Karen, how many more slots can I put in the books? And my staff was starting to get kind of worn down and broken, because they all came to the same. We can't keep seeing this many new people. My wife is getting up. I'm working till midnight. I was like, oh no, I don't need you writing reports at home. No. We need work life.
So is there a way? Is there a way that we can reach you?
Well, brainandbodyrevolution.org is now the e-learning center. So now I've started courses, and it was started as I'm sorry. Well, why don't I make a group? It's really easy, actually, Mom. So it's kind of happened because I was helping so many mothers with special needs children. Like, their kid were my patient. I was taking care of the child with autism, but Mom wasn't getting any care. So I'd have to be always telling her during the appointment, I need you to do something, because your anxiety, your fatigue, your inability to repair yourself is also going to trigger the kid. Like, I can't balance this brain and you're still frenetically too overdone. I have to teach, I got to keep, as mama goes, the whole house goes, by the way.
Absolutely.
So, it's just how it is. She's the spearhead of the consciousness. So that's where, but I couldn't convince all of them to invest in care for themselves. Right.
Exactly.
Come up with tips and tricks, and it just morphed itself into courses. So I could do it. So brainandbodyrevolution.org is where you can see my courses currently.
Yes.
And it's just going to keep growing and building. And you can join my first basic course called the 3R Reset. It's a 90-day 3R reset. We focus on the 3 R's, stand for rest, restore, and renew. And we didn't start talking about rest like crazy. And the idea that, and it triggers a lot of people. I'm playing with this new moniker. Some people, the rest revolutionary. People are like, well, I don't get it. I don't get how those go together. I know, exactly. I need to lead a rest revolution, I think, for women, because they are overworking, undernourished,
absolutely
exhausted, getting sicker, and then beating themselves up because they're doing everything right. They're doing everything the experts say to do. They're doing everything their doctor said. They're doing all of it. And she's tired, malnourished, starving, and overdone. And typically the advice when that woman presents herself is to go work out harder. Well, wake up earlier, do more shit, wear yourself out more. And I'm like, have all y'all lost your minds? Does nobody know how to actually leverage science? I just leverage what I know to manipulate the body in the way take it back to nature, despite your horrifically unnatural technology-driven lifestyle. That's what I know how to do. It's why I can produce results that sound ridiculously easy. A lot of what I do is actually so easy. People don't value it, so they won't do it. If I tell them to do it free at a party, like we told people what to do, I guarantee you most of the women in here will not do those 3 things because they haven't invested and committed themselves in any way. They've given nothing for that information, so that won't change a behavior. I can say the same thing at a cocktail party to somebody for free, give them a free consult. They won't do a damn thing. Make them come into my office and give me a few $1,000s. They'll go home and do it and get amazing results.
And that in the end, well, that it does, as you said earlier on, and I'm going to round this off now.
It's not .com, by the way. It's not .com.
Org. You said org, didn't you?
Org,
yep. So I'm going to change it.
Membership site. It's a membership site. I mean, I have more sites, but we'll stick with that one for now.
Yeah, do forgive me. No, okay. So let me make it visible again so that we can correct it. Therefore,
well, and then Facebook. If they're on Facebook, I mean, I have so much free content that they can get an idea if they want to, before they fork over the $200, which is still outrageously cheap for 3 months.
What is $200 in healing your life? What is that?
I mean, for a 90-day course, you got, honestly, I mean,
but it doesn't matter because it's
more than that per hour. I mean, absolutely. That's not what I charge. You know what I mean? So I'm like, it's kind of, trust me, I want to over deliver. I over deliver. You will not go, that wasn't worth this. I mean, you're going to go, damn, this was worth every penny, Yeah.
So, Dr. Stephanie Rimka, I want to thank you for the beautiful abundance of insights, knowledge, awakenings. And as you did say, we have to be ready to be able to hear it. So I do want to say, lovely viewers, lovely ladies, male, female, in and outside of the group, watch this a few times and just start reprogramming your brain. Take on these activities, because if you love you, you want to start choosing you and putting you on number 1. So, Dr. Rimka, I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for your insights. I want to thank you for that mirror, that wake up, shake up, that, all of that. I want to thank you for that. And lovely viewers, I want to thank you for watching live and in the replay. And I am very much looking forward to seeing you on our next interview. This is Shamna Gray from Goddess Creations. And until next time, have a good day. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.